The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons. On today's show, we'll be talking about winter, particularly Montana's winter and your car. We'll be talking about why winter where you're at may not be winter where you're going. We'll be talking about how to prepare your vehicle, how to prepare your mindset, and how to be aware of what winter is in Montana. It can be nasty. Great info. Stay tuned.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Receiving help for Ella has been life-changing, and the best word for it is relief. I was the therapist, I was the aide, and I couldn't be the mom because emotionally you're just to your wits' end, you're trying to survive.
I provide care for the Harrises, specifically their daughter Ella. Respite care is extremely challenging, but the rewards that you receive from it are 100 times more than working with a child that doesn't have special needs. Once they get something, it's everything. It's a you celebrate. You don't just enjoy those moments. You celebrate every moment that you get, that you guided them to that next step.
Respite. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. Will you provide it? Call 800-224-6034 or visit respite.mt.gov.
It went from survival to enjoying life and being able to be a mom again.
Brought to you by the Montana Broadcasters and this station.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services Senior and Long-Term Care Division. I'm your host, Brian Lamore. You know, winter is almost a full year season here in Montana, and we rely on our vehicles to get us here and there. And there's some certain aspects of the vehicles driving and being in Montana that you need to be aware of in order to get to your destination and back safely. So we've got a wonderful guest today. We've got an expert from the Department of Admin, Loss Prevention Specialist with Risk Management and Tort Defense, Mike Anderson. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Brian. I'm pleased to be here.
Great. Well, let's kind of start at the top. You know, it's not quite winter yet, really winter. We want to look at our vehicle. We want to make sure it's maintained and ready for winter, right? What are some points that you can give us on that?
Well, this is the perfect time of year to start looking at your vehicle because it's still warm enough out to actually do it yourself, or you can take it to a shop and have them look at it. Some of the things you want to look at is the batteries. Make sure your batteries are good. Sometimes in the summertime they're fine, but as soon as it gets cold, those batteries won't work. Check your radiator fluid, your fluids in the engine, the transmission, air pressure in your tires, condition of your tires. Make sure you have the right type of tire. Because there are summer tires, all-season tires, and then winter tires. And so look at your vehicle and make sure that it's ready to go.
I know on my little Toyota I have winter tires for it, and they're just a bit better tire than the other two. Can you tell us why a winter tire might be better than an all-season or a summer tire?
Yeah, a winter tire is actually made out of a different type of rubber. It doesn't, traditional tires like an all-season tire, at 20 degrees and below, the rubber gets really hard. and so you lose traction. Winter tire is made of a different type of rubber that doesn't get hard when it gets cold, and so it stays pliable, and so you maintain traction.
Maintain traction. I think there's a reason they want you to have the snow tires off. Is it May 1st?
Yes,
Yeah.
Studded tires.
Studded tires.
Yeah, because they will actually tear up the pavement.
And they wear quicker. But let's talk about tire pressure too. I know some people have done some off-roading. They drop their tire pressures way low. What do you recommend for a vehicle in the winter?
We recommend what the tire manufacturer recommends, or even the vehicle manufacturer. And there's a tag right on your driver's door. You open the driver's door, and right on the post, there's a tag that recommends what the pressure should be in those tires. And so that's our recommendation.
Yeah.
Some people like to lower the pressure a little bit in the wintertime to get a little better traction. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, the car manufacturer recommends one pressure.
Yes.
That's the ones to go with.
Year round. Yep.
You know, and also, well, we've been around before synthetic oils, and in the winter when it was below zero, not having them would be a problem. What's the advantage of synthetic oils, and should we change them just for the winter?
Synthetic oils are thinner. The viscosity doesn't change as much with temperature. And so a traditional oil, as you know, when it gets cold, it gets very thick. And so then it's really hard to turn over your engine. Synthetic oils are better because they don't thicken up like that.
And then that makes it harder on the battery to turn the engine over.
Absolutely. One of the other things I guess that you should have checked by your mechanic is your heater. A lot of cars have block heaters. There's actually 4 different ways that you can heat the motor. A block heater, which is probably the best, a radiator hose heater. You can get a magnetic heater that you can just simply click onto the oil pan, or a dipstick heater. And so many ways to warm up that engine, and it's really good to do that. Another thing, because engine heaters take up quite a bit of juice, is you can use a timer on your house where you plug it in. And if you're leaving the house at 7, have the engine heater kick on at about 6.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's, the scenario is it's winter. We're going to plan a vacation. We're going to go from point A to point B. What are some of the considerations to do that safely with our vehicles?
Well, first of all, know what you're getting yourself into. Montana weather, as you know, we can have 4 or 5 different scenarios going on in the state all at the same time. And so understand what your route looks like weather-wise, what the roads look like as far as condition. And you can do that several ways. You can watch the news, just be aware of what's going on. You can use MDT has a good site. It's mdt.mt.gov. You can go there. They make an app, a travel app, that you can put on your smartphone that checks roads. And it will tell you the condition of the road, whether they're wet, dry, if there's construction, if there's delays, if the road is open or closed, all kinds of different information. But the biggest thing is understand what you're getting yourself into. And the best defense of all, if you don't have to drive, don't.
Exactly.
Don't put yourself out in it.
Yeah.
Winter driving can be treacherous. It really can.
I know as a state employee, I've white-knuckled it to Billings to go to a meeting, and all the meeting members, the roads were too bad, I didn't go. It's frustrating. But you say MDT, that's Montana Department of Transportation.
Yes.
They have a wonderful app. I use it because I live a little bit out of town. I want to know what the roads are in Helena. Or do I just stay home and have coffee at home? That's the easy thing to do. But many times it's a tough decision to say, I'm not going. And you'll be happy for making that decision.
But a lot of times that's the best decision.
Exactly. And for our viewers, we've quickly drawn to a close on our first segment. We'll be talking about a lot more information, great information that you need to know if you're going to be here this winter. So stay tuned. You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992, and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef, and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
A message from FireSafe Montana. At FireSafe Montana, we have years of experience working with effective forest management plans. Planning is a key part of creating a healthy forest and being able to manage wildland fire. Which do you think looks better, this or this, where a well-designed fuel reduction plan was implemented? We can help you design a workable mitigation plan. This message brought to you by FireSafe Montana and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about Montana and the winter. We'll be talking about how you need to be aware and how your car can be, well, a life-saving tool, or how to prepare it and make sure it's ready for Montana's winter. Rejoining us now is Mike Anderson. You're with the Department of Admin, Risk Management, Tort Defense, Loss Prevention Specialist. And let's kind of start at the top right now. You know, winter's here. Some days it's really nice. Some days it isn't. Some days it's in between, and where we're going might be different. What are some of the hazards we need to know while we're driving?
Well, on the first segment, we talked about getting your car ready. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about getting yourself ready.
Yeah.
You need a different mindset when you're driving in the wintertime than you do in the summertime. You can basically do the same things, but you just have to do them more subtly, right? I mean, it's all about traction in the wintertime. And so we talked about tires, but we as you're going down the road, we also talked about, you know, checking the weather and everything, but as you're going down the road, we want you to look long. Right? We want you to scan the road, but then we want you to look long, 12 to 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle. Because the truth is, the sooner you recognize a hazard, the less likely you are to become part of it.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, obviously, you have to drive a little bit slower. You have to put a little bit more space between you and the car in front of you. It's just, you know, those of us that have lived here our whole lives understand this, and we've grown up with it. But quite honestly, we're getting a lot of people moving to Montana that have never seen snow. Mm-hmm. And so if you can find a class to go to, a driving class or even a classroom, that would be great. You know, but these are just some of the things, and I know this is a high, you know, 30,000-foot view of this, but some of the other things are like visibility. We have this is just a snow brush, right? But this particular one, I spent a little extra money, and it extends out. It works really well. And that's the first thing you want to do before you start driving is make sure that all your windows are clear. You know, give yourself the best opportunity to see everything around you that you can. Another thing you can put together is a kit. This is a tool kit. One of the first things I have in here are gloves. These are not winter gloves. These are for working on your vehicle. And so when you have gloves like this part of the glove is sticky. And so even if they're wet, I can still handle tools if I have to change a tire, if I've put on tire chains, things like that. These are not to keep me warm, though. right? But I don't want to use my good gloves to change a tire, because if you get them wet, then they're no good.
Right.
Right? You have to, in Montana, winters can be brutal. You have to be thinking about hypothermia all the time. And so you got to keep your clothes and your hands and your gloves, everything dry as you can.
Right.
Some of the other tools that we have in here are a set of jumper cables in case you get somewhere and you're stuck and the battery won't start your vehicle. Some of the other things, just some basic tools. Pair of pliers, an adjustable wrench, a couple of screwdrivers. I put this kit together for about, I don't know, $25.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't really cost that much. Here's another set of pliers. And I threw this kit together. This is black tape, a bungee cord, and a roll of wire. Right?
Yeah.
Most people would look at that and say, well, what are you going to do with that? Well, I grew up in Montana. I can build a rocket with this, right?
Yeah.
And so it amazes me with just a few simple tools how you can help yourself to get back to town. If you, say, hit a deer or something, and the fender is leaning off, you can take the bungee cord and tie it back up so that you can get to town. These aren't permanent solutions, but at least it will get you back to town, because last thing you want to do is be stranded in a Montana winter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
and, you know, kind of tying that in with the Montana Department of Transportation road app. Sometimes there are passes in Montana that are closed in the winter. Don't take a shortcut, because you're the only one on the road. You'll get stuck, and people wonder where you are.
That is good advice. In the wintertime, stay on the main routes, preferably the interstates, but certainly don't take the back roads or the shortcuts, like you say, because nobody will know that you're there if you do get stranded. And, I've got another whole kit that we can talk about in case you get stranded.
Yeah, in our next segment. I know jumper cables, everybody needs jumper cables. If not for you, for a friend or a loved one, a few tools, some good gloves, tape. That's just the basics to start with, around here. So the cruise control, that's an important thing in the winter. There's certain warning things there.
It is. Cruise control should never be used in the winter. Even in the summer, when the roads are wet, if you're in a rainstorm, you shouldn't use it either, because it has one purpose, and that's to keep you at a constant speed. Well, if you get into a skid or something, it's gonna make the situation much worse. And so ideal road conditions is the only time you want to use the cruise control.
Right. And I like what you said about looking well forward. I remember going over an overpass, nice and dry, sun's behind me, I get to the top, it's all icy, flashing lights, cars off the road everywhere. I'm doing 80 and it's like, oh my God. Anticipate, look long, and take it easy.
And anticipate is a really good word, because as you're driving, we like to call it looking ahead, I guess, or thinking about what could go wrong, and then thinking in your head, how would you react if that did in fact happen. That'll help you in a couple of different ways. It'll help you because if that situation does happen, you don't have to rethink it. You can react quicker.
Right, exactly. Well, in our next segment, we'll be talking about more of a kit to carry in your car with you during the winter. Well, maybe even some of our summers. We can get snowed on the 4th of July. So we got a lot more great information. One segment left. Stay tuned. I know you will enjoy it.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am. COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
This is Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
Hi folks, and welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about Montana winters and your vehicle and the situations that you can get into, and we'll be talking about how you can survive them. Rejoining me is Mike Anderson, and Mike, we should have a kit in our car probably year-round, because most of this stuff can be used in the summer too. What are some of the basic elements that we need to consider?
Well, some of the basic things that you want to carry with you, just in case you get stranded in the wintertime, are clothing. Good gloves, good coat, snow pants if you can, good boots. Ladies, you know, when you're traveling, I know you're going to take your high heel shoes for the meetings,
yeah.
But take a snow boots also. So clothing, blanket. I carry this blanket not to stay warm. I carry this blanket in case I need to work on the car. And so what I do is I would unroll this and put it on the snow so that I don't get wet. Again, we have to be thinking about hypothermia. If, like today, I'm wearing blue jeans. If I get them wet, it will wick the heat right out of my body. This is a good thing to have. This is a shovel with a folding handle. And so I went ahead and paid a little bit extra money for the aluminum one because they make cheaper ones, but they're made of plastic. Well, what happens to plastic in the cold?
Yeah.
It gets brittle. Right? So first aid kit, always a good idea to have with you. Some of the other things that I have in here, I put together this kit. This is just a paint can. You can get these at the hardware store unused. I have a candle in here. This particular candle will give you about 2 days worth of heat and light. Okay, I've got matches in here to light it. I've got chemical hand warmers. You can get a whole case of these for like $10, right? And they work really well. They put out nice heat for about 6 hours. I also in here carry food, energy bars. If you know you're going to be traveling, do some baking the night before. Make yourself some breads or some cookies, things like that. But the biggest thing about this particular kit is what you can do with this is if you're stranded, you can get out and fill this with snow, use your hot plate and your candle, and you can melt the snow into water. Because quite honestly, we can go several days without food, but you can only go about 2 days without water, right? And so the thing is, what I would say about that is make sure that you get the water up to room temp before you ingest it. Don't drink it when it's 40 degrees because that will affect your core temp. Again, hypothermia.
Yeah.
You got to be thinking about that all the time. Never leave your vehicle.
Right.
Okay? A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to walk back to that farmhouse we just passed. You're not going to make it. And so please stay in your vehicle. I was a firefighter, paramedic for 25 years, and I can find your car, but I can't find you if you're not in your car.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So stay in your car, have the things you need to keep yourself warm, to keep yourself nourished, and just stay there and wait. One thing is, irregardless of how much fuel you have in the car, only run your vehicle 10 to 15 minutes every hour, because you don't know how long you're going to be there. You might be stranded there for a week. So only run it 10 to 15 minutes an hour. Leave your window open in case any exhaust might get into the car. And also, if your driver's window is open, you can hear if there's oncoming traffic. And then you could get out of the vehicle and try and wave them down.
That's great. And I think to tie in with that is let people know that you're leaving and when you'll be arriving and your route.
Yep.
And as I understand, keep your car clear of snow so it doesn't look like it's in a white field.
Yeah. Well, when you're running your vehicle, make sure that the exhaust pipe is clear also.
Exactly.
Especially if it's snowing heavy. It can build up really quickly.
And what I like is that nice big candle, because it's going to last a long time.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how long you'll be there. Some warm clothes. And a lot of this stuff will work in the summer. You get stuck in the mud or in the sand, the shovel will work.
Yep.
The first aid kit, it's nice to help other people, but you can use it on yourself most likely.
In the summer, I actually carry duct tape.
Yes.
Because that works great to repair vehicles, but you can't use it in the winter.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah.
Okay. It won't stick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's too cold.
Too cold. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I learned something new here. And check your energy bars, because when they turn into a rock, because they've been there too long.
These are in my test kit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want to eat these. They're about 7 years old.
But you would, if you needed to.
If I needed to, yeah, absolutely.
Well, now, Mike, we're trying to close on the show. What are a few points that you'd like our viewers to particularly remember about our talk today?
Well, be prepared. That's really the overall thing to think about, is have your car prepared, make sure it's up and running good, make sure that you have the proper mindset to drive in winter, because it is different, and have the things with you just in case you get stuck or get stranded, so that you can keep yourself alive.
Keep yourself alive.
Until somebody gets there. Take some other things you need. Take your cell phone, but make sure that you have your car charger with you also. Take your medications. If you're diabetic or something like that, have the meds that you need for a week. Because you might be stranded out there for a week. I mean, you never know.
And we hope not. But Mike, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Lots of great information. And for our viewers, we've done fires too. And one thing we do is tell your kids to put together this kit. It'll be a great challenge for them. They'll know how to use it, and they'll get it done for you. And they'll have a good time doing it. And then maybe have them explain it to you, and you'll have that kit rather than you putting it off. Give an assignment to the kids. For Aging Horizons, I'm Brian Lamore. Thank you for joining us.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.